Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're here at Dream Giveaway Garage, and today is one of those days where I am, pinching the heck out of myself to see if I'm dreaming, because look at what we have here. This is a 2005 Ford GT. But before we get into this retro-styled supercar, let's talk about what's going on here. So Ford, they did the business back in 1966 by beating Ferrari at their own game during the coveted 24 Hours of Le Mans. They did it in 66, 67, 68, and then finally 69. Now the reason why that lineage stopped was because the FIA wound up changing the rules, getting rid of 7-liter displacement V8s, and that pretty much was the end of the game for the Ford GT40. Fast forward to 2005. The early 2000s, very interesting time. There's some major iconic cars that were coming around. You look at the Honda S2000, you look at the Subaru WRX STI, and the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. But another thing that was happening was retro-styled cars. Modern vehicles that had a retro style, bringing the past to the present. And Ford really did it well with the Mustang. But then they shocked everybody. And when I say everybody, we're talking about the whole automotive world with the introduction of this 2005 Ford GT. Now they only made it 2 years, 2005 and 2006. Very, very rare car to find because the numbers are so limited. But what I want to find out is, if you're looking for that best supercar experience and you want to road through your own gears, you know, you look at modern supercars today, everything is all automated. But with this Ford GT, this is the last of those very tactile, very involved, engaged driving experiences. So what I want to find out is the Ford GT, the 05, 06 Ford GT, especially this one, is this the king of supercars? And is it the best supercar ever built? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, you're gonna find a shade of color called Mark IV Red. And the reason why it's called Mark IV Red is that in 1967, when the GT40 won again, it actually finished first and fourth that year, the car that won was painted this shade of red. It was the only time, even to this day, that an American car fielded by an American team with American drivers won the coveted 24 Hours Le Mans with Dan Gurney and AJ Foyt. And remember, that's when Dan Gurney took the champagne and decided to spray it because he was so excited. And now we have that connection of spraying champagne when you win a car race. Lots of history there. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna see not style that comes from a Mark IV, but from the 1966 winning 24 Hours of Le Mans car. So you're gonna have very retro style shape, but with a nice modern touch. I love the way they did the headlight housings. They have that projector beam headlight in there. Very sleek. And then following my finger down, you'll notice that we have your fog lamps in that retro style housing. How Ford and the designers were able to build this car, get it approved, but yet it looks like an original Ford GT40, but with those nice modern touches. Now, as we come across that low slung nose, you'll notice the over the top painted racing stripes, bright white racing stripes, that blue oval, so much history going to the Model T, and then going through all those Le Mans victories. And of course, when you look at this car, just really stupendous. Now, the fascinating thing about the Ford GT, the 05, 06, Ford never raced it. They never raced it in any type of sports car racing. But with that being said, there were privateer teams that ran these cars, not only in races like the 12 Hours of Sebring, but also lots of championships endurance sports car championships over in Europe. They were actually quite lethal over there. So it's interesting how Ford themselves never ran this Ford GT or really made it super easy to run, especially here in the United States. But you got those over-the-top painted stripes, not vinyl decals. Love that lower grille with the honeycomb finish. Man, I love me a big bowl of honeycombs, but I love me some functional honeycomb grille. And then you'll notice how the stripes come down on that lower splitter. And then even that lower air dam is in place as well to stop air from going underneath this vehicle. But this has to be one of the most timeless designs of any vehicle in the history of the automobile. Absolutely the chef's kiss. They nailed it. Now, as we rise up, you'll notice the stripes leading towards the windshield. We have that functional air intake. It's a massive NACA duct to help flow air. And then Steven's gonna kind of swing around, and I'm gonna stand here and show off how you have these two lower drops in the front hood. This is to allow all that heat getting sent through the radiator to come out and go up and over the vehicle. But like I said, I look at this car and my jaw drops every time I look at it. Now, when it came to ordering a Ford GT or buying a Ford GT, there were 4 specific options. This one has all 4. The first option is the over-the-top stripes. Side stripes are standard. Over-the-top stripes are an option. Let's see another option. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So you're gonna notice option number 2, forged BBS wheels. Love that V-spoke design. Nice kind of almost like a hand-polished aluminum style to it. It's actually an 18-inch wheel up front, 235 on the width, 45 series sidewall. Option number 3, we have the painted calipers. So red to match our Mark Red, and you'll notice they're not massive 6-piston calipers. This is back in 2005. Probably the 2 biggest things that has gone further than any other part of a performance car are brakes and tires. This wears those Goodyear Eagle F1 spec tires. Compared to modern day tires, not the stickiest by far. And those brakes, they do a good job, but obviously the brakes on supercars today are just ridiculous, especially when you get into carbon ceramic brakes. These are cross-drilled steel rotors, and then you have just a standard suspension system. And what I mean by standard is it doesn't have active dampers, adjustable dampers with a flip of a switch. These dampers have been designed for this car to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to handle the twisty bits like you carve those roads, just like you carve your turkey on Thanksgiving morning. But absolutely, let me know how you're feeling, what your thoughts are on the BBS wheels with the red calipers and our Mark IV paint job. Now, as we rise up, this is where you're gonna have your fuel filler cap. Love the way that they do it, just like the original. Even the way that you open up. So we'll be able to open up the front for you. You're gonna pull on these levers, nice aluminum finish to it. From the side, it's crazy just how petite this car is. And when you think about it, the original GT40 is even smaller. One of the reasons why they don't call this a GT40 is the height. The original GT40 is a little bit lower. It's 40 inches off the ground. This one is right above 43 inches. So that's why it's not called a Ford GT40, just a Ford GT. But what I do love about it is that you'll notice that when you open up the doors, just like the original, the part of the roof actually goes with the door. This is to allow the driver, when you're doing sports car endurance racing, to get in and out of the car faster. And the ones that raced at Le Mans were right-hand drive examples. Shifter was on, you actually shifted with your right hand, but it was right-hand drive. The steering wheel was on the right-hand side of the vehicle. This allows you to get in and out. And this is one of those things that when you're parking next to somebody, you don't want to be very close because you got to swing this door out all the way to get out or you're gonna bump your head really badly on that. Now, as Steven whips it around, there's that Ford GT side stripe. Like I said, all Ford GTs 05, 06 have the side stripe. I love this functional air intake scoop on the side to help feed air for our supercharged V8. Plus, it gives it that damn good, sexy look. Working our way back, same thing here. Air is coming off the side, flowing perfectly. I mean, even look at the way they did the side window. It's actually curved. It's not straight up and down. Not many cars like that. Come to the rear. What do we got going on here? So you got the same setup. Your forged wheels. This is still gonna be, believe it or not, 18-inch wheel out back. So actually 19, so 18, 19, and you got your red calipers. Of course, this is rear-wheel drive with a limited slip diff, and even the way they did the Ford badging just looks classy. Slick it around the back, right there. I wanna rub my body all over that rear fender. That's probably one of the sexiest parts of the car. You'll notice over the top, the stripes, we have our glass windows so you can see that supercharged V8. I'll give you a closer look. All of the rear venting, because we have a transaxle, because the transmission is at the back of the car. And then working our way down, I love the way they did the taillights, nice round taillights. You have your fully functional venting for all the heat from the exhaust. And they even did the exhaust right. Twin outlet, just like the original GT40. And then of course that rear bumper is DOT required. There are some people that take the rear bumper off, believe it or not, to give it a cleaner look. Look at our diffuser, right off of a freaking race car. Absolutely mind freaking blowing on this car. And then you'll even notice how we have a little bit of a gurney flap. So remember, the guy who won the 1967 24 Hours of Le Mans not only sprayed the champagne, but also came up with this little aerodynamic aid, because he was an engineer, called the gurney flap. It gives you downforce, but it doesn't produce a ton of drag. And I think that's one of the things I like. No big, huge wing on this thing. But why don't we go ahead? Steven and I are gonna open up this engine hatch so you can see that supercharged V8 underneath. All right, guys, we got the rear engine hatch lifted. Just so you know, it takes 2 people to lift it up. And what's great about it is that, guess what? Just like the original Ford GT40, they open the same way. But what do we got going on? We don't have carburation. We don't even have a big block 427 cubic inch V8. We have some supercharged goodness. So what you're looking at is a 5.4 liter supercharged V8 pumping out 550 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to a 6-speed manual transmission. And just so you know, it's not a Tremec. It's made by a brand called Ricardo. It's a Ricardo-built transmission, 6-speed gearbox. 0 to 60, if you know how to road through the gears, 3.3 seconds. Quarter mile is gonna go by at 11.6 seconds at 128 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 3,429 pounds. Top speed, 205 miles per hour. MPGs, 14 in the city, 21 on the highway. And what's crazy about the gearbox and the way that it's geared is that you actually could do 0 to 60 without having to shift a second. That is very unique when it comes to manual transmission cars. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, this guy right here is ready. Let's fire up this Ford GT and hear its roar. All right, guys, I'm inside this 2005 Ford GT, and I may never, ever, ever come out. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want one of these. I've dreamed of owning one of these. I've played it on Forza Horizons, Forza 27, all the different versions of Gran Turismo. I want a Ford GT. How much is this? Well, First of all, you could win this one through Dream Giveaway Garage. And this is only one of about 4,000 Ford GTs that they built. Just saying. Original MSRP is going to make you sick. It makes me sick every time I think about it. 2005, even with all 4 options, this had an MSRP of $156,000. Today, with the mileage that this has, which is a tick under 3,000 miles, you're looking at a $400,000 Ford GT. These cars are no longer depreciating, they are appreciating, and they keep going higher and higher and higher every second. But let's see if this is the king of all supercars. To the door panels. I love the simplicity. Now, let's remember, back in 2005, things were a little different. So you are going to have a ton of black plastic. Now, soft touch material up top, the black, the silver is straight up like an aluminum style material, and then you just have that hard plastic in the center there. Only thing you have are switch gear for your windows, to lock the door and to open up the door. That's all you need. No pockets. You're not eating in my Ford GT ever. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, love the way it's so far forward. You have your round AC vents. They open up real easily. Just simple. That's all we need. You got your banana holder, or you could put 3 track day Twinkies in here. Just don't bust cream on this beautiful interior, because it's actually so beautiful. Slide on in. They did the dash just like the original Ford GT40. Speedometer is all the way over to the right. Remember, 205 miles per hour. You got your fuel gauge, vacuum and boost, your voltmeter, oil pressure, engine fluid temp, and of course the tachometer smack dab in the center. That thing revs out to 6,500 RPM. Love the toggle switches. You got your start stop button, your 12 volt. You better run a radar detector. You're going to get yourself in trouble. And this is the 4th option. This is the Macintosh stereo. Those are the only options. You could get your CDs out. Pearl Jam, 2 Live Crew, Beastie Boys, Public Enemy. You could rock out. I also like the way back then you were able to shut off the airbag for the passenger if nobody's sitting there. You got a nice little tray for some breath mints. You're going to need to cool your breath after going on throttle in this thing. Good old-fashioned e-brake. And then look at what we have here. Aluminum shift knob, 6-speed Ricardo transmission. The throws are a little long, I'll be honest. But the engagement is very, very crisp and just very simplistic. Here's your AC controls. And then you have this hard as a rock armrest. I don't care though, I'm not gonna zonk it. This little guy is our mascot for the day. He's been over 200 miles an hour in this thing, so that's why we're gonna keep him here. The one thing I hate about the Macintosh stereo, first of all, you would have to be out of your freaking mind to listen to music while you're driving this. That's number one. You're out of your freaking mind. Second of all, this stupid thing, you got this subwoofer speaker right here. What's nice is that if you don't get the 4th option, the Macintosh stereo, you actually get a nice little cubby, and it doesn't stick out like some other things are sticking out right about now. But that's the thing is, I just don't, the speaker's just dumb. The seats, Steven's gonna show you the back portion of it, the carbon fiber frame, even the adjustment knob is carbon freaking fiber. And then if you're wondering, why do we have these holes here? This is to simulate the grommets that were in the original Ford GT40 seats. Leather interior, of course. I love the way they did the design. They're super comfy. You'll notice you don't get a lot of headroom. It is tight in here. I'm 6 feet tall. If I was much tighter, or taller, I'd be much tighter. But if I was much taller, I would not be able to share this experience with you. I would have to be sitting on the sidelines. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I'm already starting to break out in a cold sweat. I'm gonna need a cold shower right about now. But why don't you come over here? I wanna show you behind the wheel of this Ford GT. All right, guys, business time. I promise you this is where you wanna be sitting. Love the nice, simple sill plate with the Ford badge. And you'll notice that there's no carpet in here, just the floor mats. Love that setup, because who needs carpet in a supercar. I like the bare bones feel of this, but there's some other special touches, like those pedals in that pedal box. Raw aluminum dead pedal, clutch, brake, and throttle. You're gonna have to do your own heel-toe downshifting because this doesn't have any electronic gizmos of automatic blipping of the throttle, the automatic rev match downshifting. You gotta do it yourself in this. This is one of those cars where we separate the men from the boys. Seats, please, I don't ever want to leave this car. That's how amazing it feels. Steering wheel, very simplistic, and I love it. No buttons, no radio controls, no phone controls. The horn button bothers me a bit, but it does mimic the style of the original Ford GT40, and I love the way it just says Ford GT there, and then the gauges, that tachometer, just badass. That's all I could say. Excuse my language, but it's just badass. This thing is badass. But why don't we go ahead? Let me show you what's underneath the nose of this thing. And then we're going to buckle up. You're going to sit right there shotgun with me. And you're going to shut up. But you're going to be buckled up. And we're going to go on throttle together in this Ford GT. All right, guys. Time to open up the nose. And I'm going to say it again. Just like the original GT40, it flips forward. Now, the fenders don't flip forward. But at least the hood has that clamshell opening style to it. Reverse clamshell. You'll notice that we actually have some storage space. You could probably put one carry-on and a duffel bag, and that's about it. So sorry, all the golf fans out there, you're not gonna be able to put your set of golf clubs in your Ford GT like you can a C8 Corvette. But you know what? It's that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. I got the keys right here that say Ford. Let's go ahead, strap yourself in and shut up because we're gonna go on throttle in this Ford GT. All right, guys, you are in it to win it with me. We are inside this 2005 Ford GT, and just right away, this is a very, very special car. There's not one component on this car that is from a 2005 Ford product. Everything is unique and bespoke to this vehicle. You are sitting low, and I've sat in quite a few supercars, as you know. I've been very lucky to do that. You're sitting very low in here, but you know what? It feels good. It feels fantastic. I could see the tops of the peaks of the fenders. Great view out the front, even a great view out the back. Even with that really slanted rear glass and seeing the supercharger, you actually get a pretty damn good view out the back window. Side mirrors, so unique in their shape, but also offer just great visibility. The clutch in this car is so good. And what I mean by that is it's not a hard car to drive. I thought the clutch was going to be very stiff, very unforgiving. It's not. It's not as light of a clutch as, say, my Shelby GT350R, but it's pretty good feeling, and it's got a nice travel point to it to where it's not like an on-off switch, so it really has a good pickup point. The Ricardo transmission, the throws are a little long, but each engagement is very, very crisp. So that's the good part. But let's go on throttle. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let me shift into second gear, because remember, we do have original tires. I'm not here to do something stupid. But 3,000 RPM on throttle, here we go. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So smooth with that linear torque delivery. The steering sensation is so spot on. I really love the way it communicates with the front end. It's almost like my hands are grabbing those tires and moving them myself with my hands rather than moving it through a steering wheel. The seats, they may look uncomfortable because of all of those holes and stuff. They're actually very, very comfortable. Good bolstering to where it doesn't squeeze you like a vice grip, but it holds you in place. So they really found the perfect balance. Even the side windows, I mean, even though they're curved, you still got great visibility. That V8. Car this is a dream come true. This is really a dream come true to get behind the wheel of this generation of the Ford GT. Man, oh man, do I want one of these. God. On throttle, here we go. So rock solid, stable, so stable. You're not getting a bunch of creaks, a bunch of rattles. I mean, this car is gonna be 20 years old. AC works great. Brakes work fantastic, even though they're not, you know, ginormous pizza-sized rotors. You ready? First gear, on throttle! On the brakes. Look at this, here we go. Nice, just the torque. And the way that it just makes you feel when you're driving a legend. It's like, yeah, if I was in a Ferrari, it'd be great. Lamborghini, same story. Even a McLaren. But there's just something extra special about this car. Just, oh man, I'm speechless. I can't even believe that this is happening right now, that I am in this car, let alone driving it and sharing it with you. Oh my God. The biggest takeaway in this is just how smooth the car is. It's so smooth. Like even when you fire it up, it just, the engine comes to life. That 5.4 liter supercharged V8 comes to life. And even from down low, it's just smooth. Ugh. I feel like I'm in a freaking race car. God. And it's just the manual transmission. There's just something about this generation of vehicle with a manual gearbox. I feel like I'm in this amazing race car cocoon. I'm gonna come out a beautiful butterfly. Pulls all the way up the red line. I can't believe this is happening. And I knew I was gonna love it. I knew I was gonna love it, but I didn't know I was gonna love it this much. I guess I'm gonna have to start considering getting rid of half my cars that I luckily own to get one of these. Because this is a special car. It's a special car. And what's crazy is the engines are bulletproof in this thing. There's people that have put tons of miles on their Ford GTs and don't have a bunch of problems. Great throttle sensitivity. Ride with me. It's just so magical. If you don't need a cold shower after experiencing this, you're not a car enthusiast. I'm sorry. You're just not. You're just not. I'm just so lucky not only to be able to drive it, but with this being my first time ever experiencing driving a Ford GT, I get to share it with you here on Rady's Rides. On throttle! Third gear is just, it's like, I feel like Winnie the Pooh, and I got my freaking hand, my paw in the jar of honey. And I'm just like, ooh, this feels so good. That's how good this transmission is. Some of the, like I said, the throws are a little long, but boy, oh boy, going from second to third, Winnie the freaking Pooh. And the fact that you get up to 60 miles an hour in first gear, and you still got 5 more to go. WTF? Oh, God. And is it the fastest thing on 4 wheels? No. It's definitely not slow. Yes, a Tesla Model Plaid S will beat it in a race. Who gives a damn? You can take your Tesla and put it where the sun doesn't shine. Because this is just monumental in just so many freaking ways. I can't even describe it. I can't, even things like the shift lever. Like, the shift knob is nicely balanced. It really just has a good feel in the palm of your hand and just allows you to do the business. And if you haven't figured it out yet, yeah, this is gonna be a long drive portion to the review. I wanna drive this for the rest of my life. Obviously, I would have to stop for gas. Just unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. But damn it, we're gonna have to wrap this one up. This has been a very, 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 very special review, and I'm just so glad that you're riding shotgun with me. It makes it that much better. I hate this speaker, by the way. This speaker's stupid. But I don't care, because of this. All right, guys, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. We gotta wrap it up and get back to Dream Giveaway Garage. I'll see you in a split second. Hi, guys. What an amazing experience. My first time ever driving a Ford GT, and I got to bring you along with me. Of course, we need to thank everybody at Dream Giveaway Garage, Chris, Lori, Ryan, the whole crew, getting us access to their first Ford GT giveaway. Remember, if you spend $25 or more and use the Rady's Rides promo code, you get 3 times your chances of giveaway winnings. So that's something that they don't pay me to say. I don't take any money. It's just their way of trying to get a Rady's Rides subscriber to win. And I would love if you won this car. But let me know what you think. Is this the king of all supercars? The best one ever built? Let me know down in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. We got the jets flying over, F-22 Raptors doing their thing. This is our F-22 Raptor. But if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come back for more of the channel. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Gotta give it up to Stephen Flood. We had to pry him out of this car. He didn't want to get out, and his grin was the size of the state of Texas. So thank you, Stephen, for sharing this special experience and for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.